So, there's this new Korean gacha game called Chaos Zero Nightmare. It's supposed to be a game that will never exist until the world ends, but in a different sense, it ended up becoming that kind of game. However, this gets blocked by language and cultural barriers, so foreigners don't really get it why Korean gamers so upset. So let me break it down for you guys. Alright, CGN is a game developed by a company called Smilegate Super Creative. This is the same company that made Epic 7, but that game was incredibly controversial, had been criticized for management issues and
monetization,
scandals and more. I can't explain everything, but just know that Smilegate already had a bad reputation in Korea. Anyway, CGN was revealed at AGF 2024. After a pre-play test running from 11 a.m. on September 18, 2025 to 11:59 p.m. on September 21, it finally launched on October 22 as a game that will never exist until the world ends. Even though the previous game, Epic 7, was controversial, it was still praised for its visual appeal. Expectations were high for this new game, but traces of AI-generated illustrations were found in the game resources. After the closed beta ended, a developer commentary was posted. They confirmed that AI was indeed used for reference images and would continue to be used in planning concepts. However, they stated it was not used in the character concept art process and would not be used going forward. However, even after the official release, illustrations suspect of AI use were being identified. Also, this game promised about top-notch 2D quality themselves. On November 3rd, the earlier version of the game's assets before the story overhaul were discovered through data mining. Also, Ray, one of the main characters, still had leftover files on the official website. Consequently, people suspected that they might have trained AI on the previous artist's art styles to handle the hastily changed designs. Whole thing is a speculation with evidence that's somewhat credible, but I still think it's worth listening to. First, the original story writer is currently speculated to be Kam Gi-do-ryung, a well-known web novel writer for his cosmic horror web novel. On June 30, 2023, Kam Gi-do-ryung uploaded a post on his community. It's been a while. A lot has happened lately. First, regarding the serialization you're probably most curious about, I received permission to work on it part-time. However, I'm extremely busy with other work, making it difficult to dedicate time to it. You're probably quite curious about what kind of work keeps me so busy. And I might have a chance to introduce it someday. Not right away, but I plan to talk about it when the opportunity arises within this year. Also, several unfortunate things happened. I think it's best not to talk about them. For now, since I'm cautious about speaking publicly, I will just mention it briefly here and delete the post. And, as readers who follow me for a long time might have guessed, I'm also drank. On July 28, 2025, someone posted this on CGN community. I spilled the tea about CGN scenario writer. One of the web novel writers who was pretty good at Cthulhu stuff joined the CGN as scenario writer. But one of the existing scenario writers there got jealous and buried him using office politics. So, the Cthulhu writer quit the project midway and left. But the scenario writer who buried him through politics also couldn't service the story and left. Thanks to that, the newcomers had to pick up the wrecked story and write it. But the quality is so terrible that word is already spreading among scenario writers and industry insiders that the story is being scrapped. Furthermore, since July of this year, posts supporting the aforementioned claims continue to appear on Blind, a community that only verified employees can post. This lends considerable weight to the existence of workplace bullying issues. So, when all the information is complied, this is the story that Korea now accepts as established fact. After Epic 7's nepotism hires pushed out the former story writer through workplace bullying and politics, they butchered the former writer's creations and revised the story and lore. However, due to their own lack of capability, they failed to properly refine the new created lores. This led to contradictions appearing in the pre-release PB and official comics and in-game content. A prime example of this is Player, the captain. Originally, they were either a time-loop user or the only being capable of inheriting memories and continuing through loops, which is why Turn Rewind existed. But when the loop genre was scrapped, only the Turn Rewind mechanic remained, with no explanation. Later, in the Level 50 story, the loop genre was revealed. Simultaneously, the original life core theme could no longer be found, and the writing style and sentence structure differed excessively from the existing main story. This sparked controversy over whether the original story written by Kamidoro was actually used in this time. This wasn't the first time such issues
surfaced
in the company. There were also suspicions on 2022 that an illustrator named Serin, who previously worked at the Super Creative, quit due to exhaustion from workplace politics. Moreover, since Smilegate, the company that Super Creative belongs to, has been widely reported on for numerous issues in Korea, so people can help but view it negatively. Within 24 hours its release on the Google Play Store, the game had fewer than 700 reviews. Yet, in just 2 hours and 30 minutes after that, it surpassed 9,000 reviews, the vast majority of which were 5-star ratings. This is especially suspicious considering it's a game embroiled in multiple controversies, receiving the worst possible ratings across all communities. Yet, its score jumped from 3 stars to the 4 stars range based on these reviews. As of the time of writing, the reviews have surpassed
60
K, considering Arknights only has
20
K reviews despite being globally launched 5 years and 9 months ago. As of October 31, 2025, CGN was forcefully removed from the rankings on the Korean Play Store. Additionally, evidence was uncovered suggesting Smilegate manipulated public opinion on Korean websites like DC Inside and Archive. Due to the series of controversies and issues that erupted immediately after the game's launch, the Cultural Nightmare Gallery effectively transformed into a gallery dedicated to criticizing the game and its developer. Speculation arose that the main contributor of the Haru Gallery, created solely for game discussions, was likely a Smilegate employee. They banned everyone who posted questions for the mod and only allowed posts
favorable
to the game. Users dissatisfied with this demanded UID verification from the mod. The UID verified by that mod was an account not found in-game, leading to suspicions it was a developer account. Moreover, several suspicious circumstances emerged. The mod seemed unfamiliar with DC Inside culture. Their speech and behavior suddenly changed as if they were a different person, and they outright suppressed any attempts to criticize the company's CEO. On Archive, an account named 804, created just 10 days prior, as of October 24, gained channel mode privileges and sparked controversy by aggressively banning external users drawn to the channel by the issue, as well as users critical of the game. Since this user was already a mod on the Stella Solar channel, questions arose about whether they were an employee of the developer or related company. Around 3 p.m. on November 1st, 5 hours before the emergency live stream began, a file was uploaded to the Korean community site DC Inside. First off, I am posting this here because game-related subs don't allow VPNs. My acquaintance is a story writer at CGN who quit a year ago. According to my acquaintance, Kim PD suddenly brought this saying he wrote this all night and demanded they scrap the entire existing main story. Attached file is the PD's main scenario. Looking at the contents, disgusting Luis, Leona, Kylon, and Bria pairings, overloaded with ungrammatical sentences. Obvious amateurish writing, anyone who reads would spot immediately. Zero understanding of subculture, contents that swings between boomer and elementary school levels, completely inconsistent. boring. In short, utter crap. If he'd just left it alone, it might have been mediocre. Why did he get greedy and ruin the story like this? Everything makes sense now. Even in a blind test with dozens of people comparing it to original main story, he claimed his own shitty story scored way higher and insisted it should replace the original. That story alone proves he's a garbage tier scumbag who manipulates score recklessly and has no integrity. Eventually,
The original scenario writers,
who were cleaning up the mess from the PD's story, quit one by one until they were all gone. The Cthulhu writer also left because of this. In the end, it seems he scrapped it himself, probably realizing it was garbage too. They say this happened a year ago. Evidence attached, I did ask permission from my acquaintance. This is the accepted theory among Korean users right now. Initially, story development led by Kam Ki-do-ryong and director Kim Hyung-suk rewrote the story. Director Kim Hyung-suk rewrote the story to have his self-insert character, which is Louis, become involved with the main heroine of the game, which is Leona. Then, first writer Kam Ki-do-ryong outdrew the blind vote. From Draft B, Epic 7's story writers and others made another major overhaul, resulting in the current abnormal state. That's the another accepted theory among Korean users right now. So, the November 1st emergence live. Let's see what Kim Hyung-suk PD said. First, weekly temple events throughout November, so free 40 gachas. Second, major overhaul of the main story, eliminating protagonist marginalization, completely revising controversial characters, planning a heavy, dark story centered on the captain. Third, the collective resignation of the studio team last year was his fault. He apologized for directly intervening in the scenario. Fourth, improving localization issues. Fifth, clearly denied having ever used AI. Sixth, this part is pretty controversial in Korea because he directly compared their game to Genshin Impact, which is different company's game, and interpretations differ even in Korea. Whether he said their game is 30% cheaper than Genshin Impact, or whether he said their game was 30% cheaper than Genshin Impact. Seventh, he stated that he would bear all the blame himself. So, he stated that AI was never used in the game development process and that there was no workplace politics and bullying issue. Of course, workplace bullying issue is like bigger problem. It's matter that requires legal intervention. I believe the reason people are so angry is because of the significant dissatisfaction they have with Kim Hyung-suk, the director of this game, and Smilegate. Furthermore, it seems like the company Smilegate itself has many problems. CGN is an anime gacha game, which is called subculture genre in Korea. Though they say they are not exactly subculture game, I think it's a subculture game. Like, look at these characters. If it's a subculture game, it should cater to its target audience to make money. But it seems like they couldn't manage it. They claim that they never used AI. Frankly, even if they never used AI, it means they didn't even properly review it, which I think is even more serious. Regarding the controversy, I also believe some aspects have been exaggerated. But as far as I know, many people spend hundreds, thousands of dollars on gacha games. I believe this is naturally an area where customers can voice their dissatisfactions, especially when there's controversy outside the game itself and when they fail to keep their promises. Currently, Kim Hyung-suk's online community account has been identified and his past quotes have been found, but I won't discuss them here. Anyway, this incident is really huge on Korean internet right now. Recently, Jensen Hwang, Samsung chairman Lee Jae-yong, and Hyundai Motor chairman Jung Hee-sun ate fried chicken together. But even so, they couldn't knock CGN off the trending topics. I'm not making this video because the game is boring or because I like this game or anything like that. I didn't even download CGN. The reason I make this video is because it feels like opinions and thoughts of Korean and foreigners aren't being properly conveyed. I saw people start fighting too, so I tried to convey the situation in my own way. Thanks for watching this long video.